In front of Philadelphia's Prince Music Theater on May 15th, hundreds of students, parents, teachers, elected officials, and members of Occupy Philly rallied demanding increased funding to public services. Protesters are angry that Pennsylvania's Republican Governor Tom Corbett's $27.1 billion budget proposal includes millions in cuts to social spending. 57-year-old Philadelphia resident Irving Jones laid down with 5 others in front of the entrance of the theater where Corbett was speaking to demonstrate their opposition to the cuts.
The message is enough over our dead bodies. He's going to have to walk over us or either take the time to understand that there are no more cutbacks and we'll take no more.
Across the country, states are cutting billions of dollars in spending to bridge budget shortfalls. Inside the Prince Theater, Governor Corbett defended his proposal, saying it's not what he wants to do, but that he had to put the state on a diet. But many have a different view.
I'm a city government official who's horrified by what our governor is trying to do.
Lance Haver, Director of Consumer Affairs for Philadelphia, criticized the governor for cutting nearly $150 million in cash assistance for poor Pennsylvanians. According to analysis by the group Better Choices for Pennsylvania, a full $1.1 billion in cuts can be averted by closing tax loopholes.
He is trying to reach into the pockets of those who are in their most desperate parts of their lives and take the $205 a month stipend that they get away from them and give it to multinational corporations in the form of tax cuts. Now, that's without the promise of a single job being created. That's without the promise of these corporations doing anything. So what he's saying basically is people who find themselves in desperate situations, he's going to step on them, squeeze everything he can out of them, and give whatever they have to the corporations and not care about people in desperate situations.
An alternative budget passed in Pennsylvania State Senate last week restores $500 million of the governor's cuts, but many programs will still be slashed. Activists at the rally promised to continue fighting the cuts in the weeks leading up to the budget's scheduled implementation on July 1st. Here are some of their voices.
A lot of the juveniles are being locked up and sentenced to long terms. A lot of adults are being locked up and sentenced to long terms. $685 million was put in the building new prisons. $550 million was being cut from basic education. We want to make a difference. We want to change that.
I'm here because Governor Corbett has cut $1 billion out of public education in the last year, and cities and school districts are folding under the weight of enormous cuts. This is a governor who has clearly established priorities. When he laid out his budget for a $1 billion cut, he described it as a budget that separated the must-haves from the nice-to-haves. And education was clearly on the nice-to-have list. And in the 2 years that we've seen 2 school districts pretty much go bankrupt and belly up. That would be Chester and Philadelphia, among the most vulnerable. But dozens, hundreds of school districts across this state are cutting programs, losing teachers, losing services, and it's not sustainable.
So there are a group of about 2,700 workers that are affected directly by the cuts, and we're fighting for not just our members, but we're fighting for the teachers, we're fighting for the community, because at the end of the day, our fight should be for good jobs. Creating minimum wage jobs, giving big business a break to create minimum wage jobs isn't enough.
I think Occupy has made people more eager to get in the streets when something goes down. I think it's made it a little bit of the norm. It's pushed things in that way. It's pushed direct action as a tactic. And this is devastating as the cuts that Corbett is putting through are. And it's an opportunity for Occupy to work with groups who have been organizing for a long time around these issues and be part of a broad citywide coalition to try and stop this from happening. There was a big privatization attempt 10 years ago in Philly where all the public schools were going to be given to a corporation called Edison, and that was pushed back by students and communities organizing. And this is the next big push, and Occupy is trying to get together with a lot of the local groups and get on the same page. People say we've changed the conversation. I think we've changed the mood in the streets as well.
Reporting for The Real News and FSRN, this is Jessel Noor in Philadelphia.